Hey there, thank you so much for tuning into our podcast. But before I take you to your show, I have a very small request to make. Do check out the other episodes that we have created so far. And as you know, we are available on all major music and podcast streaming apps across the world. So, whichever podcasting platform you're listening to, do hit the follow button and leave us a rating, as that will help us improve our content and reach a wider audience. And with that, welcome to the show.
All right, all right. Check, check, check. One, two, three, one, two, three. Am I audible? Can we turn the bass a little? The treble is perfect. Okay, the output looks fine to me. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please mark the date because we are here in the show. Say that again, mate, with KG sir and Priyanka. What a lovely evening it is, guys. I can see already the monsoon showers are done, but the winter is here. From summers to winters, this show is rocking, yeah. Is it? Is it? Is it like that? I'm sure. You guys are having a fun time being a part of this show. So am I. And how come will be known to you soon.
This is how actually we should have done the starting since last 25 episodes. I'm so glad to have you. Yash, you're going to teach me so many things today about hosting this podcast, which we have been doing like shit for last 25 episodes. Welcome, welcome. Ladies and
Thank you.
gentlemen,
Thank you so much.
this is Anchor Yash Kala, one of the most, I won't say the most prominent in this field, the very well known, but I would say one of the greatest anchors that I have come across. Um, Forget everything, but the moment this guy's held his mic is just out of the world. So thank you, Yash, for coming to the episode. It's gonna be great fun, and thanks for introducing this podcast. This is how I'm sure we're gonna do it in the future episodes. How you doing?
I am so glad to be on this podcast. I guess we already had a conversation long back that I always wanted to start my own podcast, but
Yeah.
for the first time I'm feeling like I'm on the other side and I'm so happy that this is I'm not the host.
Yes. How does it feel to be on the other side of the stage?
It is crazy. Uh it is like it is so different. Somebody is asking you something and you are answering, and I feel like, oh shit, man, I used to do that every time.
Right. And how long has it been that you are into this anchoring? I have known you for very long, and I've seen you always doing it with all the enthusiasm every time, and rocking the stage. How long has it been? You know?
So, like if you mark it in number, I'm not sure if I could actually give you a number, but so if you already know, we are from the same college, sir, and we have been practicing stage like anything since a
Yeah.
long time. So 2013, when Samvid entered our college the first time, that is the very first time I got an opportunity to be a proper anchor. Before that, also I have done the annual function of my school. So
Yeah.
in my school, I was like, "Ki, dude, if you are good in studies, then you have to do everything. Like even if you do speech, debate, extempo, you have to make rangoli as well because you are good in studies." So that was something I used to do in my school. They gave me an opportunity in 11th or 12th when I hosted my first anchoring wala show. But I never knew that it is anchoring. I just did it. Samvid gave me an opportunity in 2013 when they conducted auditions for the fest. So
Yeah.
I am like, 2013 was the first time I actually felt the stage, like the power of stage. And those auditions were a turnaround because people were mad when I gave the auditions. And I was surprised that what happened to them. Like, why are they
Wow.
reacting so? Why are they reacting so weird? Uh,
You know,
then
this is what happened to me as well during the college itself. I was like hell like scared of standing on stage. My legs were shivering. I still remember my first video. If I watch it when I was performing on stage, anything, my legs were shivering in the video. That was the very first time, and that was the only time my legs shivered. And yeah, the college usually gave us that opportunity to be on stage, kill that
absolutely.
fear and everything. So yeah, great, man. And so now you are pursuing it as a full-time profession, or it's a side hustle for you?
It is. I won't say it as a side hustle because, to be very honest, now my side hustle is my job.
Excellent. Love
So,
to hear that.
uh, just the way I wanted it to be, and maybe I want it to be in future. So I just returned
Yeah,
from my office and we are doing this podcast. I don't want to return from my office and do the podcast. Instead, I wanted to return from an event and do the podcast, because that's the, you know, there the energy comes in with so much.
energy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know
That's
it, man. So how, I mean, you must be really busy with the wedding season right now, Left, right, and center people are getting married. I sleep, get up in the morning, and I see 9 people got married overnight. So you must be
very
super busy.
true. I would say that I'm super busy, not like other anchors, because
Mhm.
I am still managing both office and my events. But as you said, like, how come so many people are getting married? So, KG sir, I just realized that we are in that age, that our age group people are getting married.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. That's
Shadia is
what looks
happening
like
since a
the
long,
world to
long
us.
time. Exactly. Shadis happen the same way, weddings happen the same way as it used to be, but this time it is like people around us are getting married. That's the main
Exactly.
question.
Exactly. And this scares the shit out of me, you know.
Let's
Oh my
not
God.
talk about it. Let's not talk about it.
Let's move to another thing. So
Yeah.
so I've seen you hosting, events other than weddings as well. Like recently I saw you doing something for the Garba festival during the Navratri. So
Yes.
how is it, like, what all? So basically, from an outsider's point of view, we don't really know for what events an anchor is needed. Should we call an anchor for this, or should we, or we can manage it by our own? So a lot of these things come to our minds, right? Let's say I'm talking from a family's point of view, a family who's planning a wedding for some of anyone of in the family.
Correct.
How do they, come to this point? Okay, let's have an anchor for these events. Let's do it by ourselves, or for any
Right.
such event. How does such thoughts come into the mind? How does a preparation happens, where, so because from where I'm coming from is,
Yeah.
we don't really know if an anchor is needed for this. How would you suggest that?
I agree. I agree. So that's a very interesting question. First of all,
Yeah,
what happened? What used to happen long back is our ghar ka bua, ghar ke fufa ji, chacha ji, or someone, our uncle used to do the anchoring.
yeah,
Previously, anchoring was all about a person who knows everybody in their nuclear or their joint family. The one who is very good at speaking shairis.
yeah.
That was one very, very important thing long back. So it is still important, but how we came into picture and how now families have started understanding that an anchor is required, because now people don't actually want to uh, get involved into wedding errands. They just want to
True.
enjoy.
Yeah, of course.
Previously everything used to be a part of, like, somebody has been assigned this, you have been assigned that, brother's job is to get these all things, dad's job is to do these all things. Now event planners have come into picture. They
True.
plan your whole wedding. So even they don't have to do anything. They don't have to keep even their purse. I'm telling you the literal fact. I've done weddings like those, where the mom and the dad, the groom and the bride, they don't even keep their phones and purse. They have their shadows, which keep everything of them, even smallest of the amount to the largest of the amount, with them, with that security.
Wow. This
that
is
is the
really
that is the
something. Yeah.
change.
Yeah, this is really something that has, upgraded over the past maybe 5 7 years, I would say. Because
Ye-
earlier, what we used to see, you rightly mentioned that the uncles who were like very outspoken and
right.
were very, friendly with the people, they used to host all of these things. And rightly so. Nowadays, the wedding planners, who are the event planners, who take care of each and everything. I would just want to know more about, the secrets that happen with the planning, and how does anchors get involved into this? Because most of the times, I think a lot of our listeners would agree to it. When we go to an event, we just go there to enjoy. We hardly
Exactly.
know what's happening in the preparation of that. There are days, weeks, in months sometimes, where the event planners, the anchors are given scripts how you have to behave in a particular way, whom you need to talk more about which person
Absolutely.
whom you need to give more importance. Just tell us something more about that. How, what are the briefings that you guys receive during the event?
So, KG sir, when I used to do anchoring in our own city, that is the steel city
Mhm.
Bhilai, Durg, then our capital Raipur. So what used to happen there? Their anchoring came like a tsunami, right? Like it is something which everybody wanted, that they
Wow.
need an anchor, they need an anchor. So they just wanted to have an anchor. They never had an idea what actually an anchor does. They just knew that we have to appoint an anchor and he will say so and such names, call the other person, call the next performance, or what I would say is do some jokes which are Santa Bunta jokes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That was the case in our cities. Now, after coming to Bombay, I realized that an anchor is auditioned. Like an anchor is being known by the family first. They keep a meeting, they'll brief you about their family, and it is anchor's job now as well, that they have to know about the family, they have to know about their culture, they have to know what what are the do's and don'ts they have to follow in the wedding
Wow.
or in any function. Not only weddings, I would say, in any function.
Yeah.
So these kind of briefing, the process which follows from the very first conversation, the very first conversation will be like, sir, how much do you charge? Can you please send us your videos where we can see you? So they first understand the personality of the anchor. Then through videos they see that if things are getting reflected in video, then for sure, because you are a part of the industry, so like you're doing a podcast, you have been into singing, you also host, so you meet a lot of people. You would
Yeah.
have seen one thing, that people, whatever you see in videos, if something good is there in a video, like 50-60%, then the person is better to 80% in life. That people
Exactly.
understand.
Agreed. Yeah.
Not exactly 100% energy will come in the videos. So in that manner people will judge you, then they will call you, they'll understand how you're speaking, what all words are you actually capturing. So are you taking care of the person, which caste, this also comes as well, like I'm
Exactly.
very being very true about it. But
Yeah.
from where you belong, from where you have come up, which kind of words do you use, everything is important. North anchors are different, South Indian anchors are different, central anchors are different. That's how the process follows, and it's going the same way now.
And okay, sorry, I'll ask a very controversial question here. Here,
Yeah.
sometimes, like, let's say you are meeting the family. Is
Mhm.
there a has there been an incident where you were asked not to take up the project because you belong to the central part of the country, or let's say something, your dialect is not same as the family? This is a genuine, this could be a genuine scenario where the family does not relate to you in a lot of ways by looking at your videos or things like, okay, fine, you may be more of a north kind of a anchor, or some place, let's say in Hyderabad or in Telangana, those kind of
Right.
southern parts, they won't be able to relate to your jokes maybe at times, right? Because
Correct.
the dialect is different, the culture is different. Have you come across such things?
So it has never been a situation with me where I've met them, and then they are like, no, the person's dialect or the
Hmm.
language isn't that proper the way we want. But when a person calls me up, like it has happened, like I could say n number of times. Most of the time when the client calls up, so they are like, are you a Gujju? So I'm like, no, sir, no, ma'am. So like, don't you speak at all? So there are different instances. There are some who ask like, are you a Gujju, in a way like you have to do the anchoring in Gujarati. So
Ah,
I'm
okay.
like, no, no, ma'am, no, sir, I can't do that. So they're like, fine, okay. So we needed a Gujarati anchor. Then there is a person who is like, can you speak thoda bahut in bits and pieces? Because we'll be having some old crowd who won't be able to understand Hindi purely. So they need some Gujarati so that
Hmm.
they can enjoy as well. So that kind of question comes as well. Then when it comes to Marwadi, it's like, can you just say something in Marwadi? So it's never full fledged. They want you to do that, but if they want, they'll be very much conveying it in the very first note, that sir, are you a
Exactly.
Gujarati? Are you a Marwadi? If they want, that depends upon the crowd. Totally depends upon the crowd.
I mean, this just brings me to another question: is how big is this industry? How big is this anchoring industry, to be specific? because with respect to every culture, I totally agree to what you're saying, is because someone who's in a Gujarati family, someone who wants an anchor in a Gujarati event, they would want to, at least crack some jokes in Gujarati. This is what we do in a lot of events where
Right.
the local crowd is not specifically Hindi speaking. You try to, say something in their native language to, energize them up and bring some energy. I
Exactly.
totally get it. So, how big is this industry? If you can just give me in a nutshell, how, I mean, from where this question is coming is because, like you rightly said, there's north anchors. Again,
Hmm.
there would be western sides anchor where Gujarati and Marwadi events happen, like
Right.
Garba, those things, Navratri prominently.
Correct.
You are residing in Mumbai most of the times for your job and whatever. So the Marathi events that happen in a big way.
Yes.
Then South Indian similarly. So how big is this industry? I mean, are there really a lot of anchors who are in this field who, you know um, who are like this could be, their very first job that they're doing, and this is like the main bread earner for them. I just wanted to understand that.
Well, so where I am still not full fledged into anchoring. There are n number
Mhm.
of reasons to it. I will be coming to it in the later half. There are a lot of anchors, those who have actually paved the way for us. Like
Okay.
anchoring is now at one of the top notch professions in this entertainment industry. Without an anchor, now it has been a thought in almost like if you say proper metro cities in pan India, people are usually very much what do we say in clear words, आदत हो गई है लोगों को
Hmm.
anchors की. Without anchors they can't do the show. It's like they are
Okay.
like what are we going to do, let's give it to the anchor. Instead of thinking too much, like let's give it to the anchor. In north, in south, depending upon the industry you're saying, if I just call for weddings this season, there are more than 42 lakh crore weddings happening. That has been the figure, I guess, which has come up in this season
Wow.
in 3 months. That's like huge.
Huge. Yeah.
I might not be exact in the figure. It can be 42 crore something, but it's huge, huge.
Hmm.
So that kind of industry is booming. Previously, only so this part of wedding kind of anchorings came from mostly Marwadis and Gujaratis. So now it has been shifted to Marwadis, Gujaratis, Punjabis. Mostly these people used to do lot big giant weddings.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, now almost every culture wants to have some entertainment, and they need anchors. I know anchors, KG sir, those who are doing 2 shows in a day and they are packed like for 28 days in the month.
Wow.
Now
Wow.
you can calculate the amount of energy they are giving. You can calculate the amount of creativeness they are bringing up in the industry, because doing 2 shows in a day and 28 days packed, even in off season. I'm not talking about the on season time.
Hmm.
In off season, people are not getting dates. In one day, they're getting inquiry for like from 30 plus people. Such kind of anchors exist in our country now.
Wow. I mean, this totally boggles our head, man. I mean, just a few years back, this was not even a thing. I mean, of course, Gujaratis, Punjabis always have the biggest weddings, but
Right.
nowadays, even the smaller tier two, tier three cities that you think of, like of course, Bhilai being one, Ranchi being one, these smaller cities are like crazy with events, crazy with weddings. I know so many people who just got married in last few years.
Right.
They said that for having like a sangeet ceremony, which is one of the Karan Johar's things. So for the sangeet ceremony, they used to just the role of an anchor was to entertain for 3 hours whatever is happening on
Non-stop.
stage, non-stop.
Absolutely.
It's like a show that the anchor is putting up on stage, and the rest of the 500 people are just sitting and enjoying what's happening on stage. Nobody
Exactly.
needs to take any pain. Wow. And
That's the
yeah,
change. Like it's super drastic.
yeah. for coming to the weddings again, like you have been hosting it for quite some time. You have been doing shows. On what days of a wedding do you think an anchor is needed from a customer's point of view? If I think of.
So KG sir, how it started before now,
Mhm.
when I started my anchoring days as well. I started from my college fest. People
Yeah.
saw me, the outside event planners saw me that this person is capable enough to speak good on the stage. So let's get him outside of the college for some events as well. So one of the choreographers from our city, he was planning an event. He was planning a dance event where he was calling judges from Bombay,
Okay.
uh, and the participants have to be around Chhattisgarh itself. So at that time, I it is a show, so an anchor is needed. The show is done. Then slowly I moved into weddings. So it was only Sangeet. There was only Sangeet where a stage has been made. There will be performances. Dono hi families, say from both the families, bride and groom will come and do some non-stop dances and things like that. All that's apart. Now the things have changed. It was only Sangeet, but how people are changing is that people of our country, they can't
Mm.
be at any one thing for long.
Yeah.
So Sangeet got bored now. Like, okay, something is happening is Sangeet, fine. Now let's switch to the next function, which we do, next ritual, which happens in a wedding. So that is okay, fine. Haldi. Haldi is a
Haldi.
ritual which happens. So now let's get an anchor in Haldi as well. Let's get a DJ in Haldi as well. Okay, now Haldi is done. Now people are getting bored of Haldi. Okay, so now resorts are having pools. How do we make use of the pools? Let's do a pool party. What can
Wow.
happen in a pool party? We can have games in a pool party, but who will conduct the games? We need an anchor to conduct the games. All right, fine. Now comes uh, haldi is done. Sometimes haldi and mehendi is combined in a lot of culture, but sometimes it is different. So now there
Yeah.
is mehendi. Now mehendi, we'll be sitting 1 to 2 hours to get our mehendi done, the henna done in our hands with uh, beautiful sketches and things like that. What are we gonna do for 2 hours? Let's call an anchor. He'll entertain us, or let's call a DJ. We'll have some music. We'll have some dance.
I
Things are
mean,
not stopping. Things are not stopping here.
this
Now
is so
it's
new
like
to us.
things are not stopping. Now it's like, okay, now the groom is ready and he's about to roll his barat, but nobody, only few people, only the friends and immediate cousins, the dad, and few people will dance to barat. But if we can get an anchor, barat on wheels can happen and he can make everybody dance. So
Yeah.
let's call an anchor in a barat as well.
My God.
Now barat enters. The bride is all set. Now the bride and groom makes an entry for the Varmala. But the Varmala can't be normal. It has to be royal. It has to be that emotional touch. So we need an anchor who can, make people feel that the bride is about to leave her sasural, and she'll be going to sorry, her maika, and she'll be going to a new family altogether.
Yeah.
There also an anchor is needed. So you name any function, any ritual in a wedding, an anchor or an entertainer or an artist is needed now.
Wow. Wow. I mean, before this episode, I was of the mindset that okay, anchors are needed only during the Sangeet ceremony, just to call the next participant, crack jokes, do some mimicry and all that. But my goodness, this wedding industry has just expanded like anything. And you remember during COVID when everything was shut, the weddings were still happening. How did you cope up
Exactly.
with during that time? Because I'm sure the events were not happening as full-fledgedly as now. How were the things then?
This that part, or that phase of any artist life was the most difficult times. Like, I
So
won't say
true.
only artist, but I would still say the first ones to be faced the most is the artist, because artists are all about dealing with the crowd.
Yeah.
And if there is no crowd, there are no gatherings, an artist can't do anything. We need people who can smile. We need people who can cheer when we are saying something. We need people to cheer when we are singing something. Without the crowd, we can't do anything. For us, everything is in and around the people. So during the COVID times, there were the switch mode changed to from on ground events to online events.
Mhm.
Zoom, Google Meets, and these all platforms played a huge role. So a lot of things, basically corporates, because the stress was increasing in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh, corporate industries. The time of working hours were increasing. In that way, we shifted to the hybrid mode, and online was the factor. People were conducting studio shows. People were doing shows on laptop. I myself did like, I would say like 80 to 90 shows in the lockdown period, the online shows. And the weddings, very few weddings were happening in a count of 50 people. But there also, when people had good reach to the authorities and all, and
Mhm.
they were allowed to go from 50 to 70 or 80, there people used to hire anchors. I hardly did 3 to 4 shows in the lockdown, like if you could say in the span of first 1 year. But dealing with it was the most difficult times. Even us anchors used to have a call together, and I was like,
Yeah.
what is going to happen to the industry? How are we going to survive? So my bread butter was not exactly anchoring.
Yeah, right.
I was still having a job. But people, those who were totally dependent upon this source of income, they were shattered. And a lot of people, if you still see the count of Mumbai people, or people those who give this industry a charm, they have actually left the profession. I'm not talking about only anchors, but artists. They totally left the
Wow.
profession because they were not aware of what's going to happen next.
Wow. So yeah, of course they need to, pay the bills somewhere, and
Exactly.
anchoring is not pulling it off. So when you said online shows, what kind of online shows were you hosting? Like mostly corporate? What were the shows online? I mean, for an anchor to do an online show, I understand stand-up comedians, or let's say singers or performers like that, who could actually do a Zoom meeting for the corporates, or anyone for that matter, for a genuine crowd,
Right.
and do a Zoom show. For an anchor, what is it basically for an online? Because I want to understand. I mean, I just know that, I just hope no such thing as COVID or any lockdown, the stupidest thing, should happen again. But
Not
what are the
this.
ways around? What are the ways around this? When there's not an actual crowd, I just know the the lust for the claps. When you say something and people clap and laugh, that is something different feeling altogether. So yeah,
Exactly.
coming back to the online shows, what were you doing basically?
So, what used to happen is, whenever we were down with no shows, a
Mhm.
thing, I don't know who actually started this thing, but a very noble person would have said this, that as an entertainer, so we are anchors, we are a part of the entertainment industry. So at the end of the day, our job is to entertain people, not just say something, right? In that way, we'll just be called as speakers and not anchors. So an entertainer can entertain from wherever he's sitting. Like if you're sitting in a group of 5 friends,
Yeah,
and if you are an extrovert, or if you're good at speaking, obviously if you're cracking jokes, the other four will laugh.
true.
Even if there are two, they'll laugh. So you don't need the cater of audience always. Like it's not always about 50, 100, 200,000 number of people. It's even about the people those sitting in the room. You can entertain them as well. So for people those who were into corporates, they were sitting at different places in their houses. They were getting very stressed up about the whole corporate fact which was going on.
Hmm.
So people used to the corporates started going to that side of the world where they could entertain them, so that the life, the personal touch, the corporate touch doesn't go. So they used to hire anchors, and we used to do shows for 2 hours, 1 hour, 1.5 hours to 2 hours, from making them play games, to stress buster activities, to making them understand the importance of teams, to making them understand the importance of communication. Because our idea was to make them aware that even if you are into the online world, you still need to be able to communicate to the other guy. You can
True.
still
Yeah.
manage to turn around a table and get your job done, but that's only possible if you be connected. So if there are 50 people in my show, my job was to make everybody turn on their cameras. So a lot of people, I would tell you, KG, so this is the most interesting fact about online shows, that a lot of people those were shy during
Yeah.
the COVID times, due to these corporate shows or due to any online shows which happened. These people got their nerves, all those nervousness a little side, and we're able to turn on the camera and speak something.
Excellent. Wow.
So nobody knew that such kind of thing would happen. But for an anchor, our job is to like everybody should enjoy. So even if some person is not turning on the camera, we were very particular about, no man, we want the camera to be turned on. And the moment turns on the camera, he is a different person. We are able to
Exactly.
communicate. We are friends. Post 1 hour, everybody knows everyone. We are actually pulling each other's legs. We are giving names to each other. We are playing games. We have created treasure hunt. We have gone to secret rooms, did that, and the show is done. It's all about fun.
Super. Super. I hardly, so from my experience, I didn't attend any such event during the COVID specifically, but a lot of mental health and strength and all of those things were organized by different HRs and corporates mostly.
Right.
But anyway, coming back to the weddings, which is the more interesting, and the spicy topic. What are the funny
Yes.
things that you come across in a wedding?
Funny weddings is all about funny things only. There is always
Yeah,
a fufa, there is always a bua, there is always a chacha, there is always a masi.
and someone would be pissed off. Someone who's not asked a drink
Someone who
is
is not
pissed off.
happy, someone who is like ki, you're done with your anchoring, so can we see the performances now? We are here to see the performances and not you. And I'm like, dude, uncle
I
ji.
totally relate to that, man. that's what
This is
that's what a lot of times, even I feel, when I'm hosting something. Like recently there was a Diwali event here in Mexico for the expats, and I was hosting it. And so the crowd which was there was mostly, let's say 40% Mexicans and 60% Indians.
All right,
And
sorry.
you have to cater both the audience. You have to cater both of them. So when I'm trying to involve with the Mexican crowd, they are like, the Indians are like, okay, when are we going to have the next performance? We're not here to listen to your bullshit. When I'm catering to the Indian crowd, they are like, the Mexicans are looking at me like, okay, fine, when is the next game happening? I totally relate to you. So yeah,
You
go
can't
ahead.
make everyone happy in the room. That's the known
Yeah,
fact.
because they are from so different backgrounds at times, and so different tastes that they have. They just
Absolutely,
want to look at the
absolutely.
performances sometimes, and you are the one who's just, I need to prove my worth. I need to, the money they have paid me, I need to show them, okay, fine, I'm worth it and all. That is what.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
And we have this deep down, we have this feeling, "Arey yaar, they are paying us. I'm not performing to the level I want to. I
yeah.
won't be getting more shows. They're not liking me. What's gonna happen?" So many things are going in the mind, and they're like, "Sir, we are done with the performances. Now we can go." You're like,
Wow. Wow. And what's up with the food? Do you get to eat the food all the time in the weddings?
my God, I can say that that is the best part about the wedding.
Best thing,
Best
yes.
part about the wedding. Like sometimes it is just for the sake of food. We are like, can we just go for the performances?
Right, right. I know, man. I know.
Jokes apart, we never do that. That is my artist friends gonna kill me. Ki, "Arey, what are you saying, man?" But yeah, food is something which we actually wait for, and we crave for. Once we are done with the show, we go with the soup because we have to keep our throat active all the
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
And but happens in a while that if people might be saying ki you are having the best food of your life, going so many places, enjoying the cuisines here and there. Let me tell you guys, we don't get enough time to eat everything every single event. Also, since we have to do events every single day, sometimes we can't eat bullshit every day. That's going to affect our
Correct.
health. So
True.
we do survive on dal chawal.
Exactly, man. I can totally relate to it. And like, I wanted to come back to this aspect of anchoring, the location point. How important is a city like Mumbai or a city like Delhi for an anchor, or
it is
any
it is
any big city for that matter? You can name more if you want.
I would say since you have brought that question in here, like I have myself faced that difference because I
Hmm.
was in Bhilai 6 years back. In 16, I completed my graduation and immediately we got selected in the campus. I came to Bombay. So the only reason I came to Bombay was people behind me were like, "Ki, Yash, why are you selecting Bombay? Because Bombay is a very expensive city." But my goal and my objective was like, I just don't want to go and sit in my cubicle and do my work. I want to explore more because that city is known for entertainment. That city is the Bollywood city of India. So a lot of things are happening over there.
True.
So as you said, cities like Delhi, Bombay do play a major role because you get to have a vast audience in cities which are two tired cities and all. They are like in our city, Bhilai, Durg, Raipur. The crowd is less. If you
Yeah.
get to perform one place, and if you have performed something over there, after two or three events, you will be finding the same audience. There,
Exactly.
the city ends. But if you're in Bombay, you'll be finding so many different people because Bombay and Delhi, these places are not just metro cities. These are the cities which have people from multi-linguistic places. So
Migrants
many
from
different people, so many different cultures, so many different languages. And if you are performing in front of so many different people, obviously you are learning different from what you're learning in small towns.
And is there a difference in the the charges that you usually take from such cities, depending on the tier of the city?
So
Or
there is a thing
basically,
in
I'll
small.
I'll, I'll frame it again. Let me reframe it.
Yeah.
What are the criteria that you put forward while you decide, okay, this is what I'm gonna charge for this event?
Uh, so it is one of the most important questions I guess you have asked, and I guess the listeners, those who are planning to go into this field of anchoring or speaking in front of the crowd, they should know that the your charge or whatever commercials you guys work on, it is decided by who appoints you first thing, and
Okay.
it is decided upon how much experience do you hold in that profession. You would have heard
Okay.
that. You would have heard that phrase quite a long time, KG sir. There was a phrase that someone just fixed an issue in 1 minute or something, and the person said that why would I pay something to you for 1 minute? And he
Right.
was like, sir, I'm not charging you for 1 minute. I'm charging you for the 25 years I've learned this to solve
Fix
that
in
issue.
1 minute. Yeah. Exactly.
So that's the thing. It's all about how much experience do you have. Like if you appoint me, that person should be capable enough after 10 years to handle any crowd. And if he is a fresher or if he has just come up into the industry, he would have handled three or four kind of culture or three or four kind of families. He can't handle every single thing every single time. So it's all about experience. On that basis only you should charge. I do prefer that.
Okay. Okay. And like on a funnier side, do you also have to like fight for the payments? Because sometimes I've been on the receiving ends of these things where, you perform somewhere, you do something, and then you have to struggle for the payments. You have to keep reaching out for the to the person, like, or the event manager, when I'm gonna receive it, and they just keep, dodging it for months. I'm sure this
Thank you for
happens in the
getting me.
entertainment industry a lot.
Thank you for getting me into this podcast. People, those who are listening me and those who have not paid me yet, please pay me. I don't have money, guys.
Wow, this is a very common issue, very common issue where, I mean, why don't you pay? You got the work delivered, right? What's wrong in paying now? Wow.
It happens, but the good thing is it doesn't happen with if you do events with direct families.
Okay, yeah.
That never happens. If you are going via someone who is a manager or who is actually doing the event, so such kind of thing happens. And I won't say they do it on deliberate basis. It is because some or the other way they face losses, guys. And we can't accept the situation for that moment because it's like we did our hard work and i I need that money because I have given my efforts. But at the end of the day, when you realize that he was not able to bring that much amount of profit from the event, so he's not able to pay. So it's like that.
So it's more of a relation based, fine, we'll make it up in the next event or something.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, that's what the best code works around. All right.
There are
Yes.
scammers.
Mhm. Go ahead. You were saying something.
There are scammers, so please be aware, guys.
In every field. I hope we are not scamming you on this podcast. We won't. We're very
No.
genuine, kind-hearted people. We just try to make an effort every week. All right.
Yeah.
So yes, another question that I had, this like we already touched it upon it briefly in the first half, is like, okay, north, south, east, west, everywhere big fat weddings are happening.
Right.
Are you right now being appointed in every direction of the country currently? Is there a demand in every direction? You already touched culture part, like, okay, the Gujaratis want a Gujarati anchor. But
Right.
there are some neutral weddings, right? There are some neutral weddings where English would be the point, or maybe Hindi would be the communication language. Do you,
Correct.
I mean, do shows down east, west, north, whatever?
I have, see, I am a Marwadi Jain myself. I don't know how to speak Marwadi. I live in Mumbai. There are a lot of there are a lot of Gujarati people. I don't
Yeah,
know how to speak Gujarati, but I am blessed that I was born in and I have been raised in central part of the India. So our Hindi is pure. So my
true.
Hindi is good enough, and the kind of events which I do in Mumbai right now, or whatever shows you guys are seeing about me, are totally about Hindi and English. I do shows in Hindi and English only because that is my forte, on which I can rely on. If I learn a language now, I'm not sure if I will be able to crack jokes on them. So that is the
And
thing. And about the cities,
yeah,
it
yeah,
definitely moves. I have been called from Hyderabad, Bangalore. I have been called from Delhi. I have been called from Surat, which is the west. Obviously, Raipur is Chhattisgarh. Mumbai comes again west, south. So yeah, I guess I have covered quite a few parts of the country, and it's all on the basis of my Hindi and English. Nothing more than that.
surely. I'm also like following up on this question. Do you think that there is a demand of anchors abroad? When I say there are a lot of Indian expats who are living in different parts of the world, all over the world, in fact, and weddings are happening. Do you think there's a demand for anchors as well? And some of your colleagues or you would like to go there, and or you have got an offer already to go and perform somewhere?
The last question actually triggered me up, but yeah, I did get an offer twice to host weddings abroad, but it couldn't turn up. So I'm very sad about it. But let's keep it aside. And talking about the fact that weddings are happening in big numbers outside India as well, guys.
Yeah,
Abu Dhabi, Turkey, Singapore, a lot of weddings happen, and there are anchors, KG sir. Those are entertainers, anchors, those who are appointed by these cream layered people, the top notch businessmen,
exactly.
the
Yeah,
top notch industrialists across the world. When they do weddings, so we have a slab in anchors and we have a slab in every artist. Like, these are the ones those who have just started. Then there are next those who are average. That they are the ones those who are liked by the people, those who are businessmen and industrialists. So a lot of people from India, a lot of anchors from India, they do
yeah.
shows out of if they do 30 or 40 in a month, 20 to 25 shows are outside India.
Wow, wow. And I mean, it doesn't also it also makes sense because there's so many people, so many Indian expats who are settled abroad, and of course the weddings are happening and they need anchors, they need that entertainment. But of course, like you mentioned, the top professionals, the top businessmen hire them. Who is the you can say, whom do you look up to in this field specifically? Who's the bench, who has set the benchmark already?
So look up to won't be the correct thing, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah, but as you said, the benchmark. So there is a guy who actually revolutionized anchoring in India. His name is Girish Sharma. He has more than I guess 1 to 2 lakh subscribers on YouTube. He has some equal amount of followers on Instagram with a blue tick, and he has done every kind of shows. He's just too good. Like, if you just write something about anchoring on Google and search, he'll be the first person who will come up to you. There are a lot of names as well. There is Sachin Kumbar, there is Vishal Raskina, there are a lot of names, I would say. But Girish Sharma has totally revolutionized this industry for us.
And he has not been on TV, right? He has just done shows like this.
Yes, he has not been on. He used to do shows for Zoom TV, but not, I
Okay.
would say, like a VJ.
Mhm.
Because if you would say on TV, you would definitely would like to compliment it with Manish Paul, Jay Bhanushali, and people like that, right?
Yeah.
But no, he has not been to that stage. But he has a whole wide stage across the world for him right now.
Surely, man. And do you think personally that what's next for you? Like, you want to continue doing weddings and events like these, or you want to move to TV? Something. I mean, I just wanted to understand what's in it. How is the growth in this field?
So after coming to Mumbai, KG sir, I realized that there are not anchors. Anchors have different genres. Anchors have different sides.
True.
There are only corporate anchors, those who just do corporate events. There are only wedding anchors, those who just do wedding events. When we were in Bhilai, Raipur, we were just aware that, okay, this is anchoring, so we can fit that person anywhere we want to. No, it's not like that. There are different ways of it. And as you said, TV is totally different. You have to go through script. You have to work according to the channel. You have to work
It's more
according
like
to their.
acting, isn't it?
Yes, it is. There are, until unless you get a, you get a fame where you are free enough to do anything you want. But I would say it's very difficult to get into TV now, because the TV industry and entertainment industry has advanced so much that they're moving more towards getting people those are already faces.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you heard Raghav Juyal. He was a dancer, but he turned into an anchor.
True.
Then there are a lot of names as well. You guys would have definitely come across. So that's more of what is happening in the TV.
Right. So what's the pinnacle of this field that you are into right now? I totally understand. Like, okay, few anchors are only specific to corporates. Few anchors are specific to wedding events. Few are for something else. Let's say TV. For your genre, what's the next thing that you would want to advance to?
So the basically the epitome of success, which I would say for me, in the anchoring world, would be to, you know I just want that more than lakhs of people. I don't want to host a show
Yeah.
which is already known. Like, people do have a dream of hosting the IFAs. I obviously do have that dream as well. But if you say what's my dream, the epitome, then I'm like 1 lakh people have come to listen me that Yash
Wow.
is hosting this show. So we are gonna go. That's
Is
the
the
kind of
anchor
power.
who sold out the show, not the
Yes,
artist.
yes, yes, exactly. That's the thing I want to achieve in my life. And I guess that's more than a show, I would say, in my life.
Of course, man. That's this very famous comedian from the West, Kevin Hart. So
Mhm.
once there was this another comedian, um, Bill Burr. Bill Burr was in an interview with Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan asked Bill Burr, like, "You're doing shows, you're packed, you're traveling all through the year, you're like most of the times your shows are sold out. You're doing
Right.
two shows a day. What do you want to do next?" And he said that, you know what, Kevin Hart once did a show with 72,000 people in an auditorium, which is the maximum that a stand-up comedian has ever performed. Maximum crowd that a
Wow.
stand-up comedian has ever performed. 72,000 people. I
My
want to
God.
do 72,001. That's that's I'm getting chills while I'm saying this to you, because um, I'm not into that much of events and hosting and these things, because you're obviously more into it and more dedicated to it. But I know the feeling when first get on stage, the first audio
Absolutely.
that you say, the first voice that comes out of the mic, and the people out there just cheer for you. That's a different feeling altogether, man.
That's it. That's all an artist wants. It is
That's
bigger than
yeah,
IFA. It is bigger than IFA.
exactly. I read it somewhere that everyone can earn money, but not everyone gets claps. You know,
So
that's
true.
so touching at this point. So
It
yeah,
makes so happy.
Yash, thank you so much for coming to the show and agreeing. I know it's very busy for you. It's the wedding season we discussed, and you still found out time to come to
Nothing
this
like
stupid
that. Nothing
podcast.
like that. That it's not a stupid pause. Say that again, mate.
Would you like to end the show in your way, your style? I'll sit and learn.
No, 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 no. I'm not gonna end the show in my way, but I just want to thank. Like, this is the first time I have ever been on the other side. The first time ever. It has never been like that. I've got few articles in Chota Mota magazines and all, but those were not of that level. I'm so happy that one of my seniors, who was a rock star and is still a rock star of his time, he's doing so many things. I get to learn a lot from you, KG sir.
You're
You
talking
are a
about Mukul,
marathon.
right?
You know, Mukul sir, the most jugadu person. How can I forget him? So definitely he is being remembered every single time. But yeah, I'm talking about you right now, KG sir, whose name I got to know after a very long time. That KG sir is Kumar.
That's a problem everywhere. Who's Kumar? I get this a lot. Who's Kumar now? Sir, it's me. My
Yeah, it's
actual
a
name on
name.
the passport is Kumar Gaurav. It's not KG.
So yeah, I'm so happy that you chose me for this show, and I had a great time. And I'm sure I have been listening to a lot of your podcast. I've listened to Soumya ma'am, so listened to Mukul sir's crazy vibe you guys create, and it's so authentic. And I'm so happy that I was a part of it.
You know what? We always wanted to create something and have our own people first and then reach out to others. So this
Right.
is basically, one thing that I always wanted to do with our own people. My own friends who are doing great in what they're doing and they need an exposure. This small podcast, I'm very happy. I may sound a little braggy right now, but we are heard in more than 15 countries at this point while we are speaking. So I just wanted the voice of our own people who are not maybe not getting heard that much. The social media influence that we have is not that much that we usually, for the entertainers like you, or for the people who are doing great in entrepreneurs like Mukul.
Correct.
you
Hmm.
know they need to be heard. They need to, I mean, the people around need to know what they have gone through. They're not the best rank
Absolutely.
holders in their schools and colleges, but they're doing great in their own will. So I just wanted this podcast to be a medium for them, for people like you, to come out, speak about it. And it's so much to learn, for me as well. So much to learn. we i
Absolutely.
i never
Absolutely.
knew that, okay, a mehendi would need a anchor. A host would be needed for every small thing, like a birthday party or something. There's so many things to learn from everyone. So
I
that's
know.
what this podcast is about. And yeah, Yash, it was pleasure talking to you. So many things I got to know, and I hope our audience learned exactly so many things that we never knew about the backside of the stage. There's so many things that happen backside. And
Absolutely.
that's what it is. It's called Say That Again, Mate, with the greatest anchor, Yash Kala. And that would be the title of the show. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
listening. Thank you, Yash, for joining me. And Priya is not here because she had some other errands to run. And we'll be back next week. All our Instagram and social media handles are there in the description of the show. We are slowly putting up the episodes on YouTube, so do check out that. Right now, they are just audio, and we'll slowly move to video podcast soon, hopefully. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Thanks, Yash. Bye bye.
All the best. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.
Hey there, thanks for listening to the podcast. Just in case you liked the episode, do leave us a rating and follow us on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to. It will be of great help if you share the podcast with your friends and tell them what podcast you're consuming. And you can also send us your questions, suggestions, feedbacks, and AMAs at pleasesaythatagainmate@gmail.com, or you can DM us on our Instagram. Our handles are there in the description of the show. And with that, I'll take your leave and see you again next week.